So we're going to start things off with our first topic, career development and learning opportunities with IFOL. So today we'll unlock new career opportunities and enhance your professional growth with IFOL membership. In this demo, attendees will explore the benefits of continuous learning through IFOL's exclusive resources, including the CFOM Certified Finance Operations Manager program. Discover how membership can provide access to essential tools, industry insights, and career development opportunities that will elevate your expertise and boost your career trajectory. Join us for an inside look at how IFOL supports finance professionals in advancing their skills and achieving long-term success. We have two speakers today, and we're fortunate enough to have Sam Hitchin-Ray, who is the CEO of IFOL. Now, I've been working with Sam as his moderator for the last couple of years, and I've learned a ton, but guess what? He's been in the industry for years, and he's got a new title. Congrats on that. Sam, how are you today?
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, very well, thank you.
Why don't you tell us a brief history about yourself and how you got to be in the position with IFOL?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for myself, my background has been in education and in training for a long time. And for me, my passion really is all around empowering people, helping people to reach their goals in their career. So what I really enjoy doing here at IFOL is looking at new ways that we can help finance professionals get from where they are now to where they want to be. So whether that's starting as an accounts payable specialist and moving their way through to becoming maybe a CFO one day. That's what I really enjoy, is helping people reach their goals.
And I've seen this firsthand with you, whether we're at conferences in Toronto, Miami, Chicago, or webinars. You really do have your fingerprint on this topic. We're going to also be joined with Roy Shelton. He is the Chief Operations Officer. Roy Shelton is, he's a results-driven financial manager with extensive public and private experience. His career spans roles in a corporate finance, state procurement, and technology management areas, where he has demonstrated leadership, strategic thinking, and a commitment to efficiency. Hey, Roy, how you doing today?
Good morning, Rob, or good day. I'm well. How are you all?
Fantastic. Roy, where are you coming to us from?
Virginia,
Love it.
the United States.
Love Virginia. I'm going to leave it over to you guys right now to take control. You got about 30 minutes, and I'll chime in as we get a little closer to the end of your presentation. And again, to our attendees, chime in our chat box anytime you like with questions, answers, concerns, because they're here to help you. Sam, Roy, over to you, my friends.
Thank you.
Very much, Rob. Thanks for that intro. Look, first of all, I just want to say, as the CEO of the Institute of Financial Operations Leadership, I want to thank everyone for their attendance yesterday at the day one of the FOLS, or Finance Operations Leadership Summit. And as well, thank you for joining us today for the workshops. I hope the speakers yesterday gave you a lot of food for thought, and I know today's focus is much more on professional development and technology and how you can leverage tools for becoming more efficient and improving financial processes. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the workshops today. So in terms of this session right now, welcome to the session. During this session, what we're going to be doing is sharing some real world benefits of achieving the CFOM, which is the Certified Finance Operations Manager Professional Credential from IFOL. It's one of a kind. It's not something that exists anywhere else in the world, and we're really proud to have that unique professional credential that we offer to finance professionals. So we'll actually be speaking with Roy, who I'm pleased to be joined by today, and we'll also be going through a short demo of the study platform as well. So actually be able to share with you the study platform that our students use to study for and sit any exams that they do with us, whether that's the Accounts Payable Specialist certification right through to the Finance Operations Manager certification program. So again, thank you, Roy, for joining us. You obviously hold not only the Accounts Payable Practitioner credential that was awarded to you from us, but also the Certified Finance Operations Manager professional credential. And look, when we refer to a finance operations manager, The typical kind of career path usually starts somewhere in transactional finance. I'm sure, a lot of those who are attending today will have come from that background, whether it's in AP or AR, credit control, etc. But I know that your actual journey and your career path has been slightly different. So why don't you give us a bit of an insight as to where you started and where you are now, please, Roy?
Thank you. Yes, I began my career not as most traditional finance operations managers may start in AP or AR, but I began in logistics and transportation, managing procurement, then moving through compliance and cost tracking for contract management. And from there, I was fortunate to take on a role with a nonprofit as a director of IT, where I saw operational and organizational budgeting. And moving on into today, where I currently lead an accounting team for a large grocery retailer across the United States for Virginia. This blend of IT leadership and finance has really shaped how I lead and manage, with a focus more on strategy, systems, and people. And I think that's been a great success.
Absolutely. And what I kind of pick out from your experience, Roy, and the lesson that we can probably learn from your experience is that you don't necessarily need to be, a qualified accountant, come from a financial background, to move into, a financial operations management role. I think today, that role is much more about looking at process, improving processes, looking at leading and managing teams, improving performance, rather than what a lot of people think about is, financial accounting and creating forecasts and et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's really kind of important to know that when we refer to our program that we offer, our study program, it's not an accounting qualification. It's very much around leading finance teams, so financial operations. So it's about, improving processes. It's about looking at way that you can work better really in payables, receivables, treasury, leading teams, et cetera, et cetera. So don't expect to study how to create a set of accounts. If you're enrolling in CFOM, it's much more about business application and improving processes really. So Roy, along the way, you've become very accomplished in your career in terms of earning professional credentials. Not only, the IFOL professional credentials, the CFOM and the CAPP, but also you've achieved process improvement and project management professional credentials. So that's obviously a big part of you, moving your career along and progressing and having additional skills to offer to employers, perhaps. So how do you feel that, earning those credentials and having those behind you has helped you in your career so far?
Thank you. Certifications have been a real game changer for me, not just in continuous improvement or continuing education, but earning, both this CAP, Certified Accounts Payable Professional, and the CFOM through IFOL gave me not just the credentials, but the confidence. The experience was there. These programs taught me more of understanding of how frameworks apply within finance industry, but also in operational improvement. They directly impacted my work. For example, the CAPP helped me streamline the AP processes with my team that I was just coming in off the ground running, both leading to cost-saving measures. These certifications have helped open doors and given me tools to lead with clarity and purpose, either working small, working large, working our way through a goal that's not just beneficial for the internal, but the external and maintaining vendor-client relationships.
Right, so what you've learned from the course has helped in a variety of different ways by the sounds of it. So what about the kind of practical application then of what you've taken from the courses, what you've learned from studying for these exams, and particularly, most recently completing the CFOM, which I understand helped you identify and achieve a significant cost reduction in your current business. What can you tell us about that? What did you learn? How did you do it? What kind of cost reduction did you make? Give us the
Yes. Okay. So from the CFOM, after completing that program, business strategy and finance was a big chapter in the curriculum that I studied, risk management and also governance, along with the big one that many of the financial leaders love, audit. I conducted an audit, and that went back from fiscal year 24 through fiscal year 25 at the time. What we had determined within the current organization, this was a new build. So a lot of the remote operations were in California. Virginia, however, was not on the same communication link for processing payments through the vendor payment portal. Our ERP at the time was Sage, and I use that lightly. We used a cost saving metric because one person only processed payments. The other person completed the three-way matching. So the delegation was split. When I came on board, I said, well, I'm not in California and you're not in Virginia, so we need to find some common ground. So I took on reviewing all of the past payments, current payments. What we had realized was there was a vendor that was registered for payment, not just in California, but in Virginia. So when they were hitting the work cycle format for the employee, they were paying it because they had all of the necessary documentation to complete three-way matching. However, in a shared network group, the same person in California saw the invoice and they were paying it. So we ended up having a double billing that I found through researching the payment run histories and deposits that were received. So from there, I escalated it very quickly. I said, hey, team, we have some problems. I think there could be a double build received here. So we researched. We ended up finding close to $2.5 million that had been additionally sent, which can frustrate most people. So from there, we got with legal, we got with compliance, we spoke with the vendor. We did recoup close to 1.5, and the remaining we used in bill credits for the vendor that was still working with us in ongoing projects. A lot of areas that shed light were communication and effective vendor relationship management, because the project manager at the time did not know the vendor wasn't forthcoming with the information, and rightfully so. That's on the internal user. We are the gatekeepers of the monies that go forth. So when we did speak with the team, and we had a process understanding that, hey, if this is something that's registered here, we need to register them there. It shouldn't be both ways. So now that we have a standard operating procedure in place, all vendors that do work for Virginia are paid through Virginia. And that saved a lot there. So we've been catching a few things, also working with vendors. And the most recent project that we completed was the water tower issue that we had, which was close to $800,000 in savings. The vendor that built the facility was still trying to get out of the expiration of the warranty, so to speak. So then we went back and said, no, here's the documentation. Your team has been non-responsive. So we ended up saving additional money there. And it's been a good growth opportunity, I would say, for recognizing risk and recoup.
Well, absolutely sounds like it. And, I guess some of the things that you've identified and you looked at might sound, to some people like fairly obvious things to look at. But at the same time, if you're not thinking about them, then you might not remember, or it might not be something that you directly go to. Whereas I suppose when you're kind of going through a study program and looking at these things and looking at best practices and looking at ways to become more efficient and reduce risk, as you mentioned, and have a strategy in place, then it brings it to the forefront of your mind, doesn't it? And it makes you think about how you can apply those things within your current business, and just check, lift the stone and see what's going on underneath. just to check that everything's actually okay. And obviously, in your case, it seems to have kind of paid dividends really for your organisation, being able to achieve those kinds of cost reductions.
Absolutely.
So obviously you mentioned, risk reduction and strategy, etc., being major parts of the study program. But obviously with the program, it also focuses quite heavily on leadership and management and leadership styles, change management, project management, etc. So what would you say the impact has been on your own kind of leadership style? Is there anything that you could reflect on that you've taken away from the study program and been able to implement, or you took skills or tools you've been able to use in the role now?
Yes, it's made me more confident in how I engage with evolving leadership models. Modern leadership often is emotional intelligence, adaptability, inclusion. Most of those skills, are developed firsthand, just hitting the ground running with day-to-day experience. The program offered a successful outcome. It improved my team's performance and morale. It increased buy-in. It increased the overall understanding of why finance financial understanding is important, not just at the financial level, but also in collaborative departments that, human resources, maintenance, all of those areas, operations, all of those teams play an impact either in fraud prevention, returns, and successful company appearance. No one wants to be in business with someone who can't pay their bills. So a lot of that is a greater influence and organizational impact. I would say the combined impact is, as professionals who invest in continuing education, becoming well-rounded in decision making, those things help us better equipped to lead in financial organizations. Complex, we lead across three different cost centers. So I'm always investigating. I'm always pressing a little deeper to see what's going on, who's covering this one in terms of ongoing projects. So that's, I would say, has inspired a lot of trust in not just myself, but in the teams that we manage, in the organization at each level. Virginia is solely on one team, and that's accounting in terms of where the payments go, how they get processed from start to finish. So I take great responsibility and understanding that we can show practical value. I would say after completing the program, those savings and those things got everyone's attention to say, hey, what else can we do? So we looked at labor reporting. We looked at all of the factors that affect the bottom line, and so those things make a difference, not just on a balance sheet, but in how leadership sees that value. So,
yeah. So it sounds like really it's put you in a subject matter expert kind of position, in the driving seat in the organization, which is, fantastic to hear. Look, I just want to say thank you for sharing those insights on your experience in terms of, your career, and then also what you've learned from the program, how you've applied it in your current position. And one thing I just wanted to note, just to bring to the surface, is when we spoke prior to this call, you mentioned to me, Roy, that actually this has all been achieved, these efficiencies have been achieved, and you haven't even touched on new technology yet in terms of automation and AI,
yes.
which is incredible. Really, it just shows that when you do come to an automation journey or implementing new technology, it's all about getting your processes right first before you then go ahead and automate them. There's no point in automating bad processes. That being said, there's lots of workshops going on today after this particular workshop that are all focused on how you can use technology. So for anyone joining us today, if you want to learn more about the best practices when it comes to automation, fraud prevention, risk management, using technology, then stay tuned for the next workshops. So the next kind of segment of this particular session is Myself, I just wanted to show you the study platform and actually show you a little bit of the course for those attending the session. So you can see what it's like to study with us. You can see what it's like to complete the CFOM and also take the exam. So just bear with me for a second. And yeah, I believe my screen is shared now. So hopefully what everyone can see now is the study platform. This is what we call the IFOL Certification Academy. This is where you access any study material and study resources, as Roy would have done when he was studying for the CFOM. And as I scroll down here, you can see these are the different courses and exams, etc., that are available within the platform. But as a student, you have access to whichever course that you've enrolled in. We also have a bunch of resources that are available to all of our students. So things like our members community, any best practice webinars that we run on a monthly basis, conferences and events. So just like this particular summit, we have quick access to register for these. We also have lots of in-person conferences that we run, and notably in September, we have the Accounts Payable Leadership Conference taking place in Miami. And then also that conference then moves to Mississauga, just outside of Toronto, in November. So for anyone that's interested in improving your accounts payable functions and networking with other people in AP, that's that's the conference to be at. Tickets are available through the website, and everyone's welcome to attend as well. So you don't have to be a member or a student, but you can buy tickets through the website. So we also run live training. We have on-demand masterclasses, and then we also run monthly support sessions that all of our students can attend. So if you have any questions and you want to network with others and speak to other students, you can join those sessions. They happen once a month on the first Thursday of the month, and it's a great place to network and get that support that you might need. Now, in terms of the actual course, the way to get started once you're enrolled is you click on the course card. That actually opens up the course, and I'm just going to hop over to the actual course here. I'll take you right back to the start of the study program. So once you're enrolled in the course, and this should look quite familiar to you, Roy, I'm sure, having been through the program.
Yes.
Once you're enrolled, what you'll see on the left-hand side here is the curriculum for the course. So these are all of the different study units and study modules within the study program. And as you'll see, we start off with finance business partnering, work our way through things like finance strategy, treasury management, data and analytics, obviously very important these days, continuous improvement models, audits and governance, project management, change management, etc. And each one of these study modules, sorry, is broken down into more bite-sized study units, which consist of workbooks, which look a little something like this. So this is just an example of one of the workbooks, which is focused on cross-functional working. And you can zoom in and zoom out on the course content in the platform, or you can actually download the course content as a PDF and keep a hold of it. So if you ever need to refer back to best practices or ways of working, it's a great handbook to come back to as well. You'll also find throughout the study program there are various what we call guest lectures. Now, guest lectures are case study based lectures from different experts in the field. So this particular guest lecture is delivered by a lady called Andy Lonnan, who some of you may be familiar with. She runs the Finance Business Partnering Academy and is an all-round expert in finance business partnering. Also delivers lectures for organisations like CIMA, ACCA, etc. So these guest lectures are usually around half an hour, and as I mentioned, they take what you've maybe learned from the workbooks and show how that can be applied in the real world using case studies and organisations that use these models and theories to improve processes or to work in better ways effectively. In addition to the guest lectures, we also have variety of knowledge tests throughout the course, which will help you test your knowledge as you progress through the course. They are short quizzes, multiple choice questions for you to answer. And then there are a variety of assignments to complete as well. So just to give you an example of this assignment, this is all around business partnering, and it will be based on the course content that you've been through previously. You download the assignment template from here. There are instructions within each assignment. Once you've completed the assignment, you can then upload that back to us, and that will go to our assessment team to be reviewed before it's approved, or it may be that feedback is provided, and in which case you may be asked to take further steps before the assignment can be approved. Now, in essence, you'll work your way through all of the different study modules and all of the different units, the assignments, the quizzes, the workbooks, etc., all designed to not only enhance your knowledge in all of these different areas and make you a well-rounded professional, but also prepare yourself for that all-important final exam. So with the final exam, we call the exam centre. Once you reach this section and this becomes available to you, you have, first of all, what we call an exam practice tool. Now, this might be something that Roy's not familiar with because it's actually something that was just recently embedded within the CFOM program. We do already have it within a variety of other certification programs that we offer, but because it's so popular, we've designed one for the CFOM program here, which is in essence a practice exam that you can take multiple times to help you prepare for the final exam. It helps to test you in lots of different areas, helps to test your knowledge, and gives you an idea of what you might score on that final exam. And as I mentioned, this is something that a lot of our students often refer to as probably one of the most helpful tools to prepare for that final exam, because it gives you that real experience of being in the exam. Now, when you are ready to sit the exam, the CFOM exam actually consists of 100 questions. All of the questions are multiple choice questions, and there is a minimum score that you have to achieve to pass the exam and to earn the credential. So that's 80% that you have to achieve to pass the exam. A lot of the time, the questions that we get asked around exams are things like, what happens if I don't pass the exam the first time? So if someone doesn't pass the exam on the first occasion, you have the opportunity to go back and review some of the course materials before you can retake the exam. If you don't pass the second time, you have one final attempt at the exam. And for that final attempt, before you go into it, we will offer you a one-to-one session as well. So a member of our education team will be available to speak with you on a one-to-one basis to help prepare you for your final attempt at the exam. In most circumstances, as long as the student has taken their time to go through the course materials and prepared themselves for the exam, then in the majority of cases, people will pass the exam first or second time. I think the first time pass rate across all exams within our platform is just over 92%. So that's just a credit to the quality of the study materials, really, and the study resources that are available to our students. So I know that's a very quick kind of overview, but I know that we're also sort of 3 or 4 minutes away from the end of the session. So just wanted to give everyone a bit of a whistle-stop tour of what it's like to be on the study platform, and also what it's like to actually access the study materials, prepare for the exam and sit the exam. However, we'll just mention now that if anyone wants to book a one-to-one demo where we can go into a lot more depth of how this all works, then there is a link within the webinar chat at the moment, which takes you straight through to a calendar to book a one-to-one demo. The other thing I just want to highlight as well is that many of you may already be aware that we have a certification kind of hierarchy, which starts at level 2 and goes up to level 5. Now, the CFOM, this program, sits at level 5, which is the very top of our certification programs. But we do start from non-managerial programs such as our accounts payable specialist or accounts receivable specialist certification programs. And for anyone who is potentially considering how this could be used for teams, for their teams of payables and receivables, or wider finance professionals within your organization. We do actually offer a product which is called the Enterprise Academy, which encompasses all of our study programs together and provides your organization with access to all of those programs for a number of users, starting from a minimum of 10. So if anyone's interested in learning more about the Enterprise Academy solution for your organization as a wider kind of learning development and professional development solution, then just reach out to us either through the chat or through our website. You can find information on that. And also there are some case studies with companies like PwC, for instance, on the website, which are really useful to check out as well. But just looking at the time, I think we're kind of coming towards the end of the session now. So we've just got a minute left. So I'm just going to end the actual demo, and then I just wanted to kind of finish on a final question with yourself, Roy. So for anyone who maybe has joined us today, or maybe kind of considering the CFOM program or even the CAP potentially, what would you say to them? What would your best piece of advice be?
I would say do it. It's more than a certification. It really is a launch pad for growth, and not just personally, but for your organization, your career, your team. However you lead across the industry, you'll gain practical tools, strategic insight, and a network of professionals such as yourself and those that are joining us virtually that are committed to growth. So it's a true gain, so to speak, for anyone that's thinking about the program, becoming a more effective leader and a valuable asset. So I'm thankful for all of your support and what you all have done here to help me in my career.
Well, thank you very much, Roy, for sharing your journey and your experience and your hints and tips as well. And yeah, just finally, I want to say thank you for everyone for bearing with us and taking the time to watch this demo as well. Hope that many of you will hopefully be in touch and want to learn more about the program, and also stay tuned for the remainder of the workshops today. There's some really interesting technology focused workshops that I think a lot of people will benefit from. So thanks again, Roy. Thank you, everyone, and I'll hand back over to yourself, Rob.
Well, before, gentlemen, you leave us, Roy, can you tell us where people can find more information on you?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn, Roy Shelton.
That's nice and easy. And any final thoughts on what you guys just talked about, Roy?
Yes, continuous education and continuous improvement is a constant. It's just like change management. You have to be liquid. You have to stay current, and that's market research. That's every facet of what you lead and what you hope to accomplish in terms of influence. And that's simply either choosing a positive influence or negative. And I believe that most people here today would represent they want to lead a positive influence, and that is what these programs do offer.
Well said. Thank you very much, Roy, and we look forward to having you on our panel again in the future.